first thing that we must understand is that given the fact that we have no structures and we have only about 4 children sat in a room somewhere tweeting away, from time to time, our candidate has had a need to remind those who are not on Twitter that they still have votes, which they must necessarily cast on the 25th of the month. This has, of course, seen us transversing the nooks and crannies of Nigeria. Mr. Gregory Peter Obi went as far as go to places where nobody has gone to campaign in years, places like Biu, places like Mubi, because there are Nigerians living there. So wherever Nigerians are, wherever they might live, before you might be related to someone, you must be able to see and feel their afflictions. So Mr. Obi has been going everywhere Nigerians are, however inconvenient or even sometimes pretty unsafe, like his trip to southern Borno, for instance, where he was told expressly by security people that they were unwilling to follow him because these were bandit and Boko Haram territory that they considered unsafe. And these are parts of Nigeria where Nigerians in their millions, thousands, they still live. They have to eke out a living in the parched land that has been abandoned by government itself. So he went to those places just as he went to Alaba Market, as we have pointed out, and just as he equally went to Computer Village. And he will continue. These are part and parcel of the attempt to continue to let Nigerians understand the critical nature of the coming election. I was, perhaps, I wouldn't call it privileged, but let me just say that I was, well, constrained to sit down and watch the performance of the man who is speaking for this current government and the one that is looking to take over from it. And these performances are sufficient to educate Nigerians as to the fact that elections have consequences. And I thank channels for giving us this, despite all the network challenges you had in the course of that. So essentially, we are focused, both the candidate, ourselves speaking for him, average Nigerian who understands what are at stake, the things that are at stake in this election. We're simply focused on taking our messages to Nigerians. Elections have consequences. You must vote for competence above ethnicity and religion. And yes, records matter. We have a 7.5-year record, almost 8 years record now, of course, of General Buhari. What we've watched this morning, the buck passing, the illustration of dysfunction in its worst form, where you are having, look, it's almost like we're sat on top of a refuse dump where we've all lost our senses of smell. So when people come around and as bubbles begins to repeat nauseating things that should not be normalized to the point where they excuse it, dice it, cut it, Nigerians must become wiser. These are our own messages in the days